And when we're looking at brackets, what it's actually saying is this A at the front is multiplied by everything inside the bracket. So in order to do that, we go A times B, and A times B is AB, and then we go A times positive C. Always take the sign in front. Okay, so A times positive C is positive AC. Okay, so let's try and do some here. So we've got 5 out the front, so it's 5 times A is 5A, and then 5 times positive B is plus 5B. Next, now always take the sign in front, so this is a negative 4. So now we're going negative 4 times 2x. So negative times a positive is a negative. 4 times 2 is 8, and then we have the x. Now we go negative 4 times negative 5. A negative times a negative is a positive, and 4 times 5 is 20. Next, we have x times 5y. So that's 5xy. We write our variables in order of the alphabet. And then we have x times negative 6. Positive times a negative is a negative, and 6 times x is 6x. Now this one's just trying to confuse you by putting the 4 at the end. It still means that everything in this bracket is times by 4. So you can just rewrite it as 4 2a minus 3b. So we have 4 times 2a, and 4 times 2 is 8, and then the a. Then we have 4 times negative 3b. Positive times a negative is a negative. 4 times 3 is 12, and b. Next, now we have 3 terms in our brackets, no different to before. We also have a negative 3 out the front. So we have negative 3 times x is negative 3x. Negative 3 times positive 2y. Negative times a positive is a negative. 3 times 2 is 6, y. And then we have negative 3 times negative 5. A negative times a negative is a positive. 3 times 5 is 15. Next, now they're trying to confuse us by putting a fraction out the front, but it's no different. A half times 4x. So we look at our numbers. A half of 4 is 2, and then we have x. 1 half times negative 1. Positive times a negative is a negative, and a half times 1 is just a half. Next one, we have a times 5d, so that's just 5ad. Then a times negative 3b. Positive times a negative is a negative. We have the number, and then ab. And last, a times positive 7 is positive 7a. Last one, again, they've put it at the end to try and confuse you. So let's just rewrite it. So we have 2y times 7x. Look at our numbers. 2 times 7 is 14. And then we just write the xy. 2y times negative x times our numbers. Well, first of all, positive times a negative is a negative. 2 times 8 is 16. And we write the y. Moving on, and now we have a bracket multiplied by another bracket. And it's no different than before. Everything within the first bracket has been multiplied by everything in the second bracket. So we go a times c is ac. A times positive d is plus AD. Then we move to the next one. B times C is plus BC, and B times positive D is plus BD. Okay, so always go in that order. A times C, A times D, B times C, B times D. So let's do the first one. We have 4 times B is 4B. 4 times 2, and it's a positive 2, is plus 8. Then we have A times B is plus AB, and A times positive 2 is plus 2A. Now when you've expanded two loads of brackets, always check to see if you've got any common terms or like terms so you can simplify further. In this case we don't. So next one, A times 3 is 24. A times negative n is negative 8n. M times 3 is plus 3m. M times negative n is take mn. Next, 2x times 5 is 10x. 2x times negative 4y is take 2 times 4 is 8xy. Negative 3 times 5 is negative 15. Negative 3 times negative 4y, negative times a negative is a positive. 3 times 4 is 12y. Last one, 2 times 5c is 10c. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. 2 times positive 3d is plus 6d. Now we have negative 3a times 5c is negative 15ac. Negative 3a times a negative 4 is going to be a positive because it's negative times a negative, 12a. Negative 3 times positive 3d, sorry, negative 3a times positive 3d. Negative times a positive is a negative. 3 times 3 is a 9, and we have AD. Now just to throw another one in here, if I had A plus 3 and A plus 5, if I was expanding that, I'd have A times A is A squared. A times positive 5 is plus 5A. 3 times A is plus 3A. 3 times positive 5 is plus 15. Now you can see that we have like terms here. So we have to simplify. So we go A squared, 5A plus 3A is 8A plus 15. Okay, so that's what I mean by simplifying if you can.